Hi everybody and welcome. It's really great to be here with you today, and I'm very excited that we've got Jenny Holden with us from Chorus Communication, who's going to talk to us about PR. So Jenny, do you want to just start off by telling us a little bit about you and what you do at Chorus?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me here today. So we started off in business about 3 years ago. I've been in PR for as long as I care to remember, actually. And then, just went alone about 3 years ago, working predominantly with female clients and from a whole range of backgrounds, beauty, wedding, independent, and it's been really nice to specialise in helping small business owners to get their name and their brand in the media in which they want to be in.
Fantastic. So can you talk just a little, so for people who aren't as familiar perhaps with PR or aren't comfortable with it, if you're a small product-based business, how can you use PR as a tool for growing your brand awareness and ultimately your sales?
Yeah, I think the trap that many small business owners fall into is that they just see advertising opportunities, and probably a lot of small magazines push ads their way, and it's a really quick way of getting an advert out there. You've got your brand and that's done and dusted for that month. But actually, right. I think an awful lot of small business owners are really missing a trick utilising PR in their business, because local newspapers are always looking for stories. Local business magazines are always looking for stories, and so too are the women's consumer press, the type of magazines that we see on the shelves in newsagents. And a lot of people think, how the hell can I get into those? But actually, it is achievable, and I'm testament to this. And I also teach my students how to get there as well if they don't want to outsource it. And I think a lot of people buy from people. Right. I certainly do. Even if they are a tad more expensive than somebody else. For example, this morning I've had a lady come round and try and sort me out with some new curtains because I've just moved house, and I know she's a little bit more expensive, but I just like her. I like doing business with her. I trust her. She's good quality. And I think that is the same for small retailers as well. If you have got your clients, not your customers, because your customers come to you once and buy once, it's your clients, those people that keep coming back for this repeat business that they offer, is where you've got a real niche, and those are the guys that you want to hold on and nurture. And I think if you've got great stories to tell about your business, then you can absolutely pitch that to the press, and that's local press, national press, broadcast media, so radio. They're always looking for interesting stories to tell. And it doesn't have to be, and by stories I mean not sales related stories, but really what drives you in business, what made you want to become an entrepreneur. What are you doing for Black Friday, for example? We all consume a lot of media. There are a ton of articles out there that everybody can use as inspiration and turn them into their own story. It could be your personal brand story as well. So I would just encourage everybody to start consuming media, probably not to the extent that I do. How can I use this to my advantage? How can I use that story and make it my own? Because there are journalists out there that want these stories. It's not these big magazines aren't just reserved for the huge brands.
So actually, it could be that a small brand with an interesting twist to their story could be interesting, if not more interesting than a bigger brand, sort of like the discovery of reporting on it.
What have I learned in business over the last 3 years? That there is a title out there that would take my story. Taking my PR hat off and using my own brand story, I guess. I could do a story tomorrow about 7 things that I've learned in business. And then I'd get my own story, Jenny Holden from Chorus Communication says, you get your brand in there somehow. That's the important thing, is that you can offer tips and hints and why you've started and why your place is a good shop to buy from, for example, or the top trends that you're seeing in, I don't know, lifestyle, clothing, shoes, hair accessories. But because you're actually writing that piece, you are the specialist in that area. So you're communicating about your things that go on in your day-to-day life or your business life, but because it's coming from you, you get that all-important name check.
Right.
And I think because you're getting that name check, you can then use that. Once you've got that social media article out there, you can then put it out on your own social media, or you've got a print article. Oh, actually, I've seen so-and-so from, you know, Curtains to Go, for example. Oh, yeah, I've seen, oh, that's some good tips there. I'll go and buy from her rather than, I don't know, Johnny Briggs, who's, you know, the other competitor.
So you're sort of saying, don't wait until you've got the perfect story that you think is really, really newsworthy, but just think about ways that you can pitch your expertise as well and get your name out there.
I think as business owners collectively, you don't want to just think yourself as a shop owner or an independent retailer. You're a business person as well. So you can offer, you could go down the retail, you could go down your ideal magazine route, whether that's, I don't know, trying to land a piece in the shopping pages of Country Living, depending on what your product is, or you could go down a local business angle, or you could, you know, link up with a local school and go and do a talk about business and shops, and, you know, and you get a photograph there. As long as you have an interesting story to tell about your life. I mean, it can be your you've got to, I did a story, I had some fertility problems earlier in life. And I developed a story for the women's press about my struggles with fertility, but that's kind of mining your own life story for press coverage. You've got to be comfortable with that.
Sure.
But everybody's got a story to tell, and I think the important thing is journalists don't want to be sold to. So you've got to create these news stories. You know, what about your customers? You know, are there any interesting insights into customers, or have you noticed any trends that you're seeing with customers? You know, are they more demanding than they were a decade ago? Are they more social price savvy? Are they price checking? You know, you've got to think about issues that are facing your industry as well. So hopefully that gives a good overview.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So you talked a little bit about how you, for example, developed a story. So I guess then has always got to be on your approaching the media. You have to have a piece that's ready written that they can use themselves. Is that correct?
There's two ways, actually. You can write a press release based on something that you feel is newsworthy, or you can send out a pitch to a journalist, which is a couple of sentences, quite succinct. You know, dear so-and-so, I've got an idea for a story about blah, blah, blah. What do you think? Or you can just list bullet points. You know, what do you think of these top 5 story ideas that I've got? And you literally just put the headline. And then it's over to the journalist. Then you're almost doing the job for the journalist. And that's what you want to do, is to make the life of the journalist that's writing for your ideal magazine as easy as possible. So you're giving them a headline to choose. You're describing a little bit about the content that you will provide within that story. And that also you'll write it to a specific word count, a specific deadline, and importantly, you'll provide 2 or 3 images. You're almost packaging up a story in a box for that journalist, because they think, oh, great, yeah, word count, good, photos, fantastic, like the idea, the concept for the story, yeah, let's go for it. And that's how it works. And actually, I'd say the main thrust of my job now as an independent business owner, not being dictated to larger clients who say, Jenny, can you write a story about this? We think this is great. Working with small business owners, I'm saying, actually, we need to be pushing stories to journalists that they want to read about. So understanding the magazines and the titles or the blogs that you want to be in is really important to research, because then you get to understand how journalists will work and what sort of stories they do tend to write about and really what they don't.
And what is the simplest way? Because I know a lot of PR is about making sure that you can create relationships with people, publications, getting in touch with the right people. But how do you go about finding out who the right person is to talk to?
There are 2 ways. First of all, pick up the magazine that you want to be in and look at the I think it's normally the second or third page in where you've got all your contacts. So they're really
Mm-hmm.
small print. Or have a look on Twitter. They are normally, once you've found out the journalist that you'd like to be in, if there's no telephone number or email address, most of them are usually on Twitter as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
either, if you don't have any luck with them on Twitter, I would message the magazine and ask for a contact. They're usually pretty helpful that way if you reach out to them on Twitter. LinkedIn as well, don't forget about LinkedIn. And another good way of connecting with journalists is on hashtag journo request.
Okay.
JOURNO request is where journalists pitch out stories. So, for example, I don't know, Jenny Holden, who works at Good Housekeeping magazine, will send out a pitch on Twitter. Hi guys, I'm looking for a female business owner who works in, I don't know, farming. Please get in touch. And those come up daily, actually, sometimes hourly. So it just depends what's going on, whether it's a slow news day or a fast news day.
And that can be a great way to get in touch then with somebody.
Exactly.
Yeah, so if they say, I'm looking for a female entrepreneur who's launched a new skincare brand this year or something.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And then once you start responding to those, whether you are successful or not, you just start your own list of journalists that way.
Right, I see, got you.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of the time you read that it's important to have a particular strategy for PR. I mean, how would a small business owner come up with a basic PR strategy?
Okay, so you, as your PR strategy, you need to think of your business as almost, I guess, a PR ecosystem. Okay. By that, I mean that you map out your year, and in that year, you plot out some stories. So first of all, start with your key dates in the year. So, for example, November is Black Friday. You should all be doing something for Black Friday, whether it's developing a story about, you know, the top 5 products that you think will be selling well this coming Black Friday, or what you think is going to be trending this Black Friday within the industry, or within, you know, what's the footfall expected. So map out key dates in your year, and then I would then put in more unusual dates. So, for example, Valentine's Day. I don't know if anybody does anything for Valentine's. Easter. So plot out all of that. And then you would then need to plot out all of your social media. So whether you have a Facebook group or not, whether you have Instagram Live, whether you have Instagram TV, whether you're doing any special promotions, I don't know. So it's literally mapping out everything in that calendar year. Blog posts as well. I can't stress the importance of blogs. And put anybody off, but 2 clients that I work for on blogs specifically, I don't do anything else for them. So I just do blogs. I have to write 500 words, 500 to 1,200 words each week, on various issues. Very boring. One of which is the housing market. I kill myself every week. So, but my client is really, really dependent on organic traffic to his website, and he does that all through blogs. So he doesn't pay for anything, but it's just this consistent blogging that has gradually, over the 3 years that I've been working for them, moved us from position 6 to position, I think we're at 2 now, right at the top of page 2, and that's all for blogging. So plug that into your strategy as well. If there is a particular journalist that you'd like to meet up with, whether it's a local journalist or a national journalist, maybe give yourself one objective to meet with that journalist face to face for a coffee meeting. You know, then they're not ogres. They are open to suggestions from people. You've just got to pitch it right, and you've got to time it right. And if you've got a great bank of stories that you think would appeal to them, put that on your calendar of activities as well. So it's press releases, pitching as well. So as I've mentioned, press releases is one route. You should all be pitching at least 3 times a week. Pitching is a bit like fishing. So you're pushing stories out there to various platforms or magazines or newspapers, and you might get one bite. You might get nothing for a few months. That is my life. It is never, there's no one solution for it. Is the timing right? Does it fit the magazine? And has the journalist woken up on the right side of bed? A good example being, I've got a floristry client, and this morning I am developing a story about Princess Eugenie's wedding this coming Saturday. I only pitched it on Friday, but I thought it's really timely. So, you know, whether you want to do anything around, sounds a bit tenuous, film launches, you know, is a product that aligns to, I don't know, a children's film that's coming out in October. I don't know. It's something where you've got to dive into your business and think about, you've almost got to do a mind map of where you think PR would fit into your calendar. But hopefully that has started the kind of the balls rolling in terms of your thought process.
And just one quick question about blogging. You mentioned it has come up before in the group before, but if you did want to pitch blog posts in particular, so let's say you wanted to get onto like a bigger blog site, is there a way of kind of researching like best places to do that, or kind of
well, I can only give an example there of the wedding industry. So in the wedding industry, there's like three glossy magazines that everybody wants to be in. Brides, You and Your Wedding, and Destination Weddings and Honeymoons. So that's the glossies that you see in the newsagents. But actually, there's about 6 or 7 blogs that are really, really widely read as well. So and it's going onto that blog, finding out who the editor is, and pitching an idea. Usually with blogs, you've got kind of a standard form to complete. I'd use that form like you would if you were pitching to a journalist as well. So yeah, I think just approach it like that.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. That's really valuable information. Oh, somebody's asked if you can just repeat that hashtag again.
Yes, of course. It's Journo Request. JOURNO, as in journalist, short for journalist, request.
Fantastic. And how can we learn more about working with you, Jenny? What you do?
Yes, guys, it'd be actually great to hear from anybody. I've got 2 ways of working with me. I do really low cost one-to-one coaching, or I'm doing some group coaching. I'm actually in the midst of a 6-week PR accelerator training course now for some of my girls over on my page. But yeah, or I do low cost PR packages. So if you really don't have the time or inclination, because with PR you've got to be tenacious, dog with a bone. If I want to be in a magazine, or if I want one of my clients to be in a magazine, I don't let up, and I politely stalk a journalist until I get the result that I want. But in a nice way, and in a kind of I'm not a really bossy PR person. I'm just normal. And I always try and just be super polite, and because I still respect journalists, it's where I've come from. Yeah, you can find me, guys, over on what's my Instagram? Jenny Holden PR. Jen Holden, sorry, Jen Holden PR on Instagram. Or well, I don't know. I'll send the links later. I'm so engrossed in my talk. I'm getting all a bit muddled.
Send me the links and I'll put them in the comments then, if anybody wants to find out more about working and how PR can help their business.
Right, but definitely get on to Black Friday, guys, because I think that's a really good opportunity for you. You should all be gunning for a piece for Black Friday.
Okay, you heard it here first. Black Friday, PRs, start your engines. Off you go.
Start those engines now.
Thank you so much.
Okay, no worries.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.